Inspectors couldn't believe everything they read on this sushi menu. Hanabi in the Village Square shopping center listed super white tuna, but actually served up escalar.
You can find super white tuna all over the sushi restaurants.
That's not actually
That's all
super
escalars.
or
That's
tuna.
all escalars.
Escalar is not tuna. It's a kind of snake mackerel, a deep-sea bottom feeder that can be bought on the cheap and sold more expensively when it's called super white tuna.
But it's not tuna.
Yeah, it's not. You know.
Hanabi owner Andy Kim says the misnomer is more like a nickname.
I mean, it's nickname, you know.
A nickname,
Yeah.
but it's like one's mackerel and one's tuna.
So once they brought it up, I just erased it out
Took
of
it
the
off the
menu.
menu.
Yes. I don't have to take the risk to sell it, you know.
Escalar does carry a real risk. Mother Jones magazine dubbed it the X-lax fish due to the severe gastrointestinal problems it can cause. The FDA does not explicitly ban escalar, but advises against distributing the fish. It is banned in other countries like Italy and Japan.
Everything's poisonous, you know, everything. Even grass, you know, I mean, you know, even vegetables too. Tomatoes, everything.
Speaking of tomatoes, inspectors found black growth on these in the Hanabi fridge and a cut tomato sitting on a dirty shelf. Inspectors found mussels next to an open soap bucket and Teflon peeling inside the rice cooker. There was dried food debris on knives, bowls, scoops, strainers, and cutting boards, mold in the ice machine, and excess greasy, dirty buildup throughout the kitchen on equipment and floors. A total of 37 demerits, earning Hanabi a C grade.
I mean, this time they were here for 5 hours, you know, I thought they were trying to find something.
Hanabi is the 5th Village Square restaurant to appear on Dirty Dining. Along with the C grade on February 12th, it was ordered to clean up within 48 hours or face shutdown. Someone complained to the health district that they got sick after eating at Kaya Sushi. We'll spare you the symptoms, but suffice to say something in the monkey brain roll, sea urchin, octopus, salmon, and tuna sashimi didn't sit well.
You know, in this industry, that happens all the time. We don't really know if they got sick after eating here.
Inspectors don't know either, but they did document improper thawing, unsafe food temperatures, improper hand washing, and other factors that could contribute to foodborne illness. In fact, the inspection turned up plenty of health code violations, leaving Kaya Sushi with 31 demerits and a C grade. The repeat offender on Spring Mountain and Arville was first on Dirty Dining in 2012. Manager Juno Saul blames it on being an all-you-can-eat restaurant.
We have to be constantly making food. It's a little harder to control our food and our employees.
Inspectors watched a food handler rub their nose and face with gloved hands, then proceed to touch fish and the cutting board. These mussels weren't being safely handled, and look at all the food debris on the equipment next to it. Knobs on equipment were also caked with food debris. There's black gunk in the floor mat rings. This rack and this container are filthy, and take a look inside the fridge.
That's something that we have to definitely work on. We're actually looking for cleaning companies because we realized, considering how busy we are, it's really hard to maintain the cleanliness.
Cases in point, a rusty knife and a soiled panel, and get this, a chef was chewing gum while preparing sushi. And cannot reuse a dry wiping cloth to remove raw fish debris from a knife, cannot leave sliced lemons and limes uncovered and subject to contamination, and cannot store a skewer of meat on the bottom shelf of a dirty table next to an open bucket of chlorine sanitizer. Juno says that was leftover from the night before. And it's a place that got a 30 demerit C grade on March 7th, Hokkaido Sushi Bar on Fort Apache and Patrick.
I'm Darcy Spears from Channel 13. We're here because of that C grade you guys have back there that is kind of hidden behind that stuff. We want your side of the story about that.
The owner moves the container blocking the C grade from view and points to the sushi chef to answer our questions. Sam Kim says all those demerits stacked up under some pretty crazy circumstances.
Let me explain what happened that day.
Okay.
I was here and he was here. My wife was missing, So I was filling out a missing persons report with the police department.
Oh my gosh.
My daughter was missing as well.
Are they okay?
Yeah, we found them later. She left the house like 6 in the morning to drop my daughter off school. Never came back to the house or returned the call. The phone was out. So I was very worried. I was on the phone calling the hospitals and the police department.
He says in the midst of all that, the health inspector showed up.
Because I was on the phone with the police department, I could not assist her and explain different things.
The inspector found them using a cloth with no sanitizer to wipe down the cutting board. Avocados were not washed before being cut, and rice, cream cheese, yum sauce, and ginger sauce were in the temperature danger zone.
Because I had to deal with the police department, I didn't put it away.
Okay.
Yes, so that's the thing. That's why the temperature was higher than it normally is.
There were also utensils stored in lukewarm standing water.
I normally had ice, but by the time I finished my call, the ice had melted already.
The inspector also photographed Windex and an employee's cell phone on a prep table, which Chef Sam says is really just a shelf, not a place where they were preparing food. There was also excessive dirt, buildup, and food debris on floors.
The floor was dirty underneath the shelves where we couldn't really reach.
Okay, so that did need to be cleaned.
Yeah, and we took care of that.
Chef Sam says Hokkaido's business is based mostly on repeat local customers.
Hello. Who wants to help me? Who's in charge?
No one at Sushi 21 really wanted to talk to us. The restaurant on Tropicana and Decatur tried to downplay their 34 demerit C grade.
We have a not really problem though, but only to the hot water machine is just a little problem. We fixed it already.
Yeah, they did note that there was an issue with the water, but they also wrote up a lot of stuff was dirty. Food contact surfaces, cutting boards, can openers.
Not dirty.
Yes, dirty. Dirty scoop handles in food had visible dried food debris. Dirty slicers, strainers, cups, and pans were stored as clean. The walk-in floor was dirty, and so was equipment and bulk containers. Maybe they don't know dirty because, according to inspectors, the person in charge was not knowledgeable regarding proper procedure for cleaning utensils, food surfaces, and equipment.
Do you guys dispute that? Do you disagree with what they found with their characterization of stuff as dirty?
No, I cannot.
Inspectors also wrote up rusted racks, some of which were covered with aluminum foil that had all kinds of food debris smushed between its layers. There was also Advil and Vaseline stored over food and equipment. Cut apples and oranges still had stickers, meaning they weren't properly washed before cutting, and raw chicken and fish were stored over ready-to-eat food. It was shut down for 4 days after the sushi bar was hit by the health district with 47 demerits.
To work in the kitchen industry, that's alarming.
47 is an alarming number for sure.
For inspectors to shut the sushi bar down based on demerits alone, but it also had the imminent health hazard of no hot water. The long wait to be seated gave this group time to think about all that.
It should be 0 demerits.
And eventually leave to eat elsewhere. Manager Michael Yoon agreed to talk to us as long as we didn't show his face.
We're here because of the closure you guys experienced from the health district, along with 47 demerits, which is a lot.
Yes.
What do you want people to hear from you guys about why that happened?
So basically what happened was that day the hot water was not working for us.
That explains the imminent health hazard, but not the other violations. One food handler used a dirty towel to wipe the cutting board and his hands. Another touched his smartwatch, then continued to make a customer's sushi roll.
And we also have some employment of using their cell phone, especially their smartwatches, which that's a violation for the COVID, stuff like that.
Well, no, I mean, that's a violation of health code. You don't touch your smartwatch and then touch someone's
exactly.
food.
So we had that problem going on.
They also had problems with unsafe food temperatures, uncovered food in the sushi case underneath a condenser line, and uncovered scallops in the make table under dirty fans. Raw beef was directly on top of raw fish in the sushi case. Washed and cut produce was on a dirty shelf in the make table. Utensils were stored in dirty, lukewarm water, and seaweed paper was stored in dirty containers that were heavily soiled with a buildup of old food and grease. There was one thing that kind of jumped out at me. A food handler with greasy gloves was touching handles, dirty equipment, and other surfaces, then began picking unidentifiable black particles out of rice.
That I did not know. Honestly, if that's what they saw, that's what they saw. But I mean, like, we make mistakes and we're willing to fix it, and we are going to fix it, and we'll make everything right.
Inspectors also noted heavily soiled hand sinks and a multitude of flies cruising in and out of the sushi bar. A lot of conditions were dirty and greasy, and they talked about cutting boards that didn't appear to have been cleaned, that were noticeably dirty.
Those problem was only for that day. It wasn't anything in the past. I guess that day the chefs and everybody were being lazy.
The health code violations suggest problems far greater than just one day. Equipment interiors, exteriors, and handles were sticky and heavily soiled with dust and old food, as were cabinets, shelves, walls, and floors. Floor sinks were dirty and clogged, and there was a pungent odor coming from the entry area of the sushi bar. Inspectors made a specific note about chefs failing to separate utensils, cutting boards, and prep areas for raw versus ready-to-eat sushi rolls, which is important in preventing cross-contamination. Yoon says being shut down for 4 days over a busy weekend was a hit to Oishi's bottom line.
Tuna family over here, and the bluefin tuna desert from Spain.
Eric Kim is very proud of his sushi restaurant.
We make our own special soy sauce for sushi sashimi.
He's not at all afraid to address the issues that landed him on dirty dining.
And it's not because of the food is dirty, it's not because of something wrong with that.
Yummy Grill and Sushi on Lake Mead in Tenaya got a 36 demerit C grade after inspectors found repeat violations from their routine inspection in April, including documenting proper parasite destruction in raw fish.
If you see the fish, I'm sure I'm the best. I'm the best. Wherever you go, Las Vegas, I'm the best because of how I'm checking it.
Inspectors also wrote up improper dishwashing and not enough hot water, which Kim says is because they're in the midst of expanding the restaurant. A shoe sitting on boxes of soda syrup. The beverage lines coming from those boxes were strung through dirty ceiling tiles. Pork belly sauce that was 2 weeks old.
Not expired, but there's different culture. It's more flavor, more long time. It's not spoiled, different culture.
Restaurants are only allowed to keep prepared foods for 7 days. This sushi bar will be recovering from a 33 demerit C grade.
And it's always good for customers to hear, what went wrong, why that happened, and what your thoughts are about the whole inspection process that, leaves you with a C grade, which isn't posted there and probably should be.
Oh goodness, the beef fell on it. That happens all the time.
Yeah. You want to fix that?
The sushi bar at Minato Japanese and Korean restaurant on South Casino Drive is back on dirty dining for the second time.
And we'd just like to get your side of the story from whoever is in charge.
Sorry, right now we're not available for that.
You're not available, but you're standing right in front of me. You look available.
I mean, you said you need a person in charge, right?
Yes, and so of course if the restaurant's open, there has to be someone in charge on property.
I'm in charge, but I mean, you need someone probably a little higher than me for this kind of thing.
If you need to call someone, you can. We just want to be sure we give you guys the chance to, tell customers why you guys happened to get the most demerits in all of Southern Nevada last week. And, a lot of stuff in here seems to indicate with temperature issues that the sushi could be potentially unsafe, and we'd just like to make sure you have the chance to comment on that.
Not this. I'll decline.
Inspectors found sushi rice and shredded crab left out on the counter at unsafe temperatures. Ground mixed tuna and shrimp were also in the temperature danger zone.
The temperatures and hand washing and things that could spread foodborne illness. So this is kind of your chance to reassure the public that that isn't a repeat issue, even though the health inspection seems to suggest that it is.
I'll just take your card and call back.
In the kitchen, inspectors found a dish rack sitting on top of a trash can. Utensils were in tepid standing water, and there's a 3-foot hole in the ceiling above the service station that's been covered with plywood for more than a month. After calling the owner, he tells us
he doesn't want to talk. Okay, so basically we need to tell the public you guys have no comment.
No comment.
Okay.